with Chef Rob. Today I'm going to make something a little bit different, a stuffed chicken marsala with Fontina cheese and prosciutto. It's a really tasty dish. So let me just start by getting the chicken ready, seasoning it, and then we're going to start searing it in the pan. This is something that you can make all year long. It's really good. Okay, so I have a pretty large chicken breast right here. So what I actually do is I actually throw it in the freezer for about 20 minutes before I'm ready to start. And then I'm just going to trim off any of this fat right here. Okay, just around the edges. Now I do want to make sure when I am done cooking this that I cook the chicken to 165. I am going to take this knife, I'm going right down the center. Be careful you don't get yourself. You're cutting it as even as you possibly can, and you're making a little pocket right here. So I'm just going to take off these gloves. I'm going to put a little bit of kosher salt inside the chicken. Okay, the salt will give it some nice flavor. I'm going to put a little bit of fresh ground black pepper. Okay, and then some fresh thyme leaves. I'm just going to take off some of these little leaves right on here. I like to take it just like this and just take my fingers and bring it down. It takes all the leaves right off. Put them right on the cutting board. Thyme is a lemony and somewhat minty type flavor. Sometimes it has a touch peppery as well. Okay, but perfect for this dish here. Okay, I'm just going to give this a little bit of a chop and put it right inside the pocket of the chicken. Okay, want to sprinkle that around really well. Get it all off your cutting board. Take it off your knife. Okay, I'm going to put the gloves back on. I am going to start heating my pan because I'm going to start searing this. Now I want to get a nice golden crust on each side of the chicken breast. Put this pan on here. I'm going to put in just a little bit of canola oil. Canola oil will really take a nice heat so you can really bring this to a nice temperature without burning the oil. Canola oil is very good for sauteing, it's good for baking, it's good for grilling, so it's a very versatile oil. Okay, so we're back to our chicken breast. While this oil is heating up, I am going to put in a slice or two of prosciutto. Prosciutto is very thin, just like this. Always comes with a little bit of fat on the outside of it. Okay, the recipe calls for one. It's up to you if you want one or two. Okay, perfect, just like that. Now I am going to put a nice thick slice of Fontina cheese in here. If you're at the deli and you want to get it sliced by them thin, you can always put a few different slices in there. Okay, so that'd be fine. Okay, let me just fold this up right now, just like this. So we have a nice thick chicken breast, nice and herbs inside, the salt, pepper, prosciutto, Fontina cheese. Now what I want to do is I just want to dredge it right into this flour. And I don't want to put it in the pan till I see that it is all ready to have a nice sizzle to it. So I'm just going to leave that right there. Okay. This is just at the point. I'm going to use either tongs or a fork just so I can kind of work with it while it's in the pan. Okay. And then we're going to make a Marsala sauce with it in just a little bit. Okay, this is ready. Going to leave that right in the center of the pan. Fontina cheese If you can't find it, which you should be able to in any store, you could substitute a mild provolone cheese for it, a Gruyere cheese, right? Or even a Gouda cheese would work out fine. So any of those mild cheeses. We all have our preferences, what cheeses we do like. So I just want to give this a couple minutes on each side. Okay. Throw these little scraps out. Always make sure when you are done using the cutting board that had raw food on it, you take it all away. Okay? Don't want to use those again. I'm going to bring in a fresh new cutting board. That way I'm starting nice and fresh. I'm going to keep my eye on this chicken breast. When it's done, I'm going to put this on a plate on the side, and then I'm going to start making the Marsala sauce. At the very end of this recipe, I'm going to need to thicken up the gravy for the recipe. So I am going to take about 1 tablespoon of softened butter. I can pretty much just kind of feel out about a tablespoon's worth, okay? And then from where I didn't take the chicken, touch the chicken with it, I'm going to take 1 tablespoon of flour. What I'm going to do with this right now is just kind of make it into a little paste. This is called a beurre mayonnaise. And what this is, it's actually like a roux. If you know what a roux is, it is when you take butter, melted butter and flour, you whisk it together, and it's a thickening agent for a lot of cream dishes, Marsala dishes, stroganoff. You can use this in a lot of cream soups. But I don't want any flour left. I just want to have a little paste of this. I hear our chicken getting sizzling nicely. Okay, I'm going to leave that beurre mayonnaise on the side. I am going to see it is getting nice and golden brown. So I am just going to flip that over. While that is cooking now, I want to get my mushrooms ready. I had sliced a little bit before, so I have a few that are sliced. And then I'm also going to show you the mushrooms. Using very large mushrooms, any size will do. What you want to do is cut the little stem off at the very end. Okay. You always want to clean your mushrooms. There's a saying in the food industry, never give your mushrooms a bath, give them a shower. Meaning just spray them off really good, okay? Never let them soak in water and then take them out. Because the moisture, all the wet, will get inside the mushrooms and really make them a rubbery texture. I'm sure you've had it at some restaurants where they just kind of put them in a bath and the mushrooms are like very rubbery. You just want to spray it really quickly. Okay. Now in a minute I'm going to take this out. I'm going to put the chicken on the side right here. Okay. And then I'm going to start cooking my mushrooms. Okay. I'm using some Marsala wine here. Okay. I will have my beurre mayonnaise ready to go to thicken it at the end. And then for chicken broth, I am taking some water and a little bit of chicken bouillon. And just drop that in there. You can judge for yourself. It's usually 1 tablespoon per quart of water. But always make sure you whisk it up really, really well. That way, all the salt is kind of distributed evenly. Okay, so I can see our chicken looks absolutely beautiful, nice and golden brown all the way through. So let me take that, leave it on the side now. I am going to add some mushrooms to this. Sometimes what you will need to do is add a little bit more oil, but not all the time. This time it threw off a little moisture, so there's enough oil in there. Don't need to do anything. So let me just cook these mushrooms, cooking them at a medium-high heat. Medium-high to high is fine. Remember, we have to finish cooking that chicken all the way through. And we want it to go to 165. Okay. So this is going to actually start deglazing the pan because the mushrooms are going to throw off some moisture. They have a lot of water in them, but I want to get them nice and brown. In a minute, what I'm going to do is I am going to add about a half cup of Marsala wine to this. And that will throw off a nice flavor to it. Chicken Marsala is one of those dishes a lot of people will order when they're in restaurants, but don't really take it on at home. But do it at home. When you do buy the Marsala wine, get it at the liquor store. Don't buy that small little bottle in the grocery store. It is very, very sweet, okay? So buy a good Marsala wine, and it will last, okay? Okay, so what we're kind of doing is just deglazing the pan just a little bit with all the things from the chicken, all the little bits that it kind of leaves at the bottom with the flour. I just wanted to get these nice and brown, these mushrooms. And now I'm going to add about a half cup of Marsala wine. If you're not cooking every day and not sure, wait until you measure it, okay? I pretty much know about a half cup, so that should be fine. The Marsala wine just really comes at you, and you really smell a nice sweetness with the Marsala wine. Look at this sauce, it looks delicious. Just going to cook this for a couple minutes. I'm going to keep it on a boil. I almost want to reduce it to half the amount. So I'm cooking off any alcohol, and then I'm reducing it so the Marsala wine really intensifies the flavor. Okay, the Marsala wine is really reduced down. You can see there's only a little bit of liquid in the pan. The mushrooms are nice and brown. It is such a nice strong flavor. I'm now going to add in about 2 cups of chicken broth. The amount of sauce that I am making here would be enough for 6 of these stuffed chickens, okay? So keep that in mind when you're doing it. I am going to put this on a high temperature right now. I am going to take my chicken breast that's partially cooked, and then I'm going to put it right in here, and we're going to finish cooking it into the broth. Okay, so this will take about 5 minutes. I'll flip it over about halfway, and then the sauce will be a little thin. That's when I will add this, the beurre meunier, which is just a little bit of flour, a little bit of butter. Okay, about a tablespoon each. Okay. Okay, our chicken looks like it is cooked all the way through. What I want to do is take this thermometer, put it all the way through my thickest part. That way I can see that it goes all the way to 165. If it goes to 165, then we know we're all through. This was a very thick chicken breast, so it can take 5 to 10 minutes. It was more closer to the 10 minutes. But I want to show everybody a little trick out there that you can do, because you don't want to lose your cheese and your prosciutto doing this. So what you can actually do, you can actually take that filling out, leave it on a little side plate just like that. Okay, and then you have the open chicken, and then you can kind of cook it face down. And what it does is it boils right through to the chicken breast, and it cooks the chicken a lot quicker. So knowing that this is cooked all the way through, Let me put the prosciutto back in here and the cheese, which is all melted nicely. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and I'm going to put this on our serving platter. Okay, right in the center right here. Now, as we can see, it's a little bit on the looser side. You can see how it's really not a nice thick gravy yet, okay? So this is where the butter and the flour come in. It's the little mixture. I want to take about half of it. You always want to do this when it is boiling, okay? Because boiling, what it will do is kind of allow it to thicken. If it's not boiling, you could keep putting in more and more flour and butter and it may not even thicken for a long time. Okay, so let's just get that nice and thick. It may take a second or two just to kind of get a little thick, but I can see that we have more of a gravy, a nice sauce right now. I am going to add the rest of it. So this was about a tablespoon of butter and flour. Okay, what I like to see, nice and thick. I am going to ladle this right now and put it right over the top of this stuffed chicken marsala. And it will be perfect for dinner. You want to get all those mushrooms too. So let's just ladle that right over the top here. You can see how the gravy kind of slowly goes throughout the plate. And here we have a beautiful chicken marsala stuffed with Fontina cheese and prosciutto. If you're not a prosciutto fan, you don't have to use it. You can use regular ham or just put the cheese in there. You can change this around a lot of different ways. One important thing about chicken is raw chicken will only last 1 to 2 days in your refrigerator before it starts going bad, okay? Cooked chicken. So if you're not going to eat all this for dinner, put it in the refrigerator, put it in there uncovered so it stays cold. You want to get it as cold as possibly, as quick as possibly, and it will last 3 to 5 days. Okay? So I hope you enjoyed watching this video, and thank you for coming to my cooking classes, and enjoy. I want to